Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, April 1st, 2025. Just kidding. It's 2024. Look at me. I'm going to be wacky. It's April Fool's Day. Huh? You guys know what the history of April Fool's Day is? Well, it goes back to slavery. And maybe if you knew the history, you wouldn't be celebrating it. Just fucking with you. What would that story be? April Fool's Day? Hey, do you want to go for a boat ride? April Fools. Now you're a slave. That's how it started. And you can look that up. Excuse me. Anyway, did you guys have a nice fucking Easter? Yeah, we got called out. Got called out by my daughter. You know, she finally just asked, going, "Hey, is this on the up and up?" I'm so relieved. At least with her, the lie is over. I don't know why the fuck we do that, but I will say later on that night when I was hiding the Easter eggs, I kind of felt sad. Like, hey, she knows it's me. This is stupid. Why don't I just put them in the fridge before they go bad? So anyway, I never understood. The stand-up comedians have always forever, at least when I started out, before there was the internet, before there was personal computers, basically, unless you were just some fucking nerd hanging from a doorknob by your underwears. No one had a personal computer. Al Gore was working on inventing the internet, while Donald Trump was on his way to being the greatest businessman of all time, right? And other things that people that run for president say. Comedians would do bits, and they'd be like, "What's the deal? What the fuck? A bunny is leaving eggs? What the fuck?" And Club Soda Kenny let me know today. He said it was actually, it initially started, it was about fertility. I don't know what the bunnies are, because fucking like rabbits. And then fertility would be like, I mean, it's just an egg, right? That's all it is. It's an egg without the fucking fertilizer. So what are you going to do with that? You know, I don't know. But I think that that's what it was supposed to be. And the Germans somehow brought in the bunny. So if they're involved, you know, somewhere along the line, if you read into it far enough, there's going to be some sort of scat, right? That's not what it always ends up with the Germans. It's either a genocide or some sort of, I don't know, scat video. Let me just see something. Let's look this up. Easter Bunny, Germany. German folklore. According to German tradition, the Easter Bunny, or the Osterhaus, was believed to be a mythical creature that laid colorful eggs for children to find on Easter Sunday. Jesus Christ. They've just always been a little twisted over there, huh? As opposed to us here. Yeah. This tradition likely evolved from the pagan belief in a hare as a symbol of fertility and renewal. Dude, you know what? The pagans, they got ripped off on like a blues singer level. It all goes back to the pagans. I would read up on that if somebody could just fucking cut to the chase. I always hated when you would read like these history books. They'd always have to go, they couldn't just jump into it. They'd always have to rewind 50 fucking years for 3 goddamn chapters of shit you didn't want to read just so you could understand where the fuck you were. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Just get to the war. Just get to the assassination. Just get to the recipe. That's another one. Oh my God, I've always enjoyed breakfast cereal. Mornings coming down, hearing the Rice Krispies going snap, crackle, pop. Like, it would take somebody with a food website like 15 pages to tell you how to make a fucking bowl of cereal. Of course, Dad would be there smoking his ever-present pipe, It's probably why to this day I still like smoked haddock. LOL, rolling my eyes with my cute fucking line of rolling pins. Those are the side ads. White women with little hands being excited about aprons or whatever the fuck happens on those food sites. I want to meet the guy that plays the piano in those food fucking videos. Is he really that fucking like soulless, or does he just sit in the studio crying, laughing, just going, I can't believe I'm getting paid to score a muffin making video? Or what if, you know, even worse, what if it has nothing to do with any of that shit? What if you actually made that music and you thought it was fucking sick, right? And like Jay-Z or whoever the big fucking person is now was going to call you up and be like, can I sample some of this stuff? And instead, nobody gave a shit except for the cooking industry. Not even the cooking industry, the fucking, just the people on the internet. Anyway, so it goes back to the pagan belief, I guess, that the hair symbolized fertility because of, I guess, the way rabbits multiplied. I'm kind of fascinated with rabbits in that their sole fucking purpose is to just be this, like, never-ending food source for predators. Like, their job is to fuck and then be eaten. And they get eaten all the fucking time. The worst is when those fucking stoats jump on their back and they can't shake them. I never knew a rabbit made noise until one of those fucking things. And then, like, they feed all of these fucking animals, but if you're a human being and all you eat is rabbit, if that's all you ate, you would actually starve to death. Because I guess there's not enough fat in them, you know? To keep you going, I guess you need some sort of, I don't know. Like, how would I ever know anything about nutrition when fucking there's just the lobby to lie to me about what's out there, so I end up eating the wrong fucking thing is so strong. I'm always amazed at people that are on the internet that somehow have the answers. It's like, how did you figure it out? How did you get on the other side of this shit? I mean, this is a fucking enigma, you know, wrapped up in a fucking egg yolk. I mean, egg yolks are like, I don't even know what they are. I just eat them at this point. They've been good enough times in my life. I think the good has outweighed the bad. Anybody? Does anybody believe that? Does anybody even know what it is that I'm talking about right now? I had a great Easter with I hung with the kids. My lovely wife was a little under the weather, so I just hung with the kids all day, and it's been cool, man. My daughter's at a fun age. My son's at a fun age, and we just have a blast. Just doing all kinds of dumb shit, doing kid shit, and then doing dumb adult shit. I'll do fucking anything with them. I'll go to the playground. I'll go to an open house. You know, I'll go look at like motorcycles, like I don't give a fuck. As long as you bring them with you. You know, I took them to AutoZone. Bring it to the zone, AutoZone. I had to fucking get a battery. I let it run down on my truck, right? And I would call AAA, but they're always going like, are you calling from your home address? It's like, are you stalking me? Why the fuck do you need to know where I'm calling from, you cunts? Mind your own fucking business. Oh, we don't share that information. You don't. The people you work with do. I told you, when I was flying back from fucking New York, I went through Clear, and they go, can we have your phone number? I'm like, no, you can't. And they, well, then you can't go through. And I'm like, what the fuck? What did I pay for then? Then they go, it's just a one-time thing. Well, how many times do you have to put it in your fucking system before you have it, you dumb cunt? Anyways, don't sign up for Clear. Don't sign up for Clear. I already did it. I'm done. My robot's already being made. If you just stay in the fucking TSA pre-checked, at this point, it's just as fast. Fuck those guys. Fuck all of them, and fuck the politicians that are just getting paid off as they look the other way. It's just corporations do what the fuck they do. But I believe that a revolution is coming. You know? I like when you go by like a big job site and there's a crane and there's an American flag hanging from it, you know? And you're like, yeah, unions. Work better, work union. We got to get back to that. We won't. We're going to keep yelling at each other. Fucking libtard. Why don't you go fuck your sister in your red state? Just keep doing that. See how that works out. All right, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm going to keep it happy and positive. How about this? How about your NC State Wolfpack beating the Duke Blue Devils in the grade 8 to go into the Final Four? I can't remember the last time NC State was in the Final Four. They have been living off those 2 championships that they won in the 80s and then won in the 70s since I can remember. All right? It's coming up on 40 years since Jimmy V was running around looking for somebody to hug, right? Was that the first one or the second one? I can't remember. That's how long ago it was. All right? Look, who's kidding who? Does anybody look like they're beating UConn? Was it UConn, Purdue, NC State, and I don't know who else. But I was able to watch the NC State Duke game, and I just kept waiting for Duke to come back. I'm like, NC State always loses these games. I went to that school, 87, 88, sort of. I was on the off-campus fucking rehab program, and then my second semester, I was actually in 2 classes. Halfway through the semester, I was like, I'm not fucking living here, and I went back to Boston. But technically, I was there. I never went to a game, but I did see Aerosmith at Reynolds Coliseum, and then I saw Def Leppard, and then I left. That was it. And I ate at a place called Daryl's. That's all I remember. Anyway, they are in that DJ Burns, whatever his name is, the most fun fucking guy in hoop right now. The big man, he's got moves, he's got range. Can the 3-point play? He's just a fun guy. And anyway, I thought it was great for the Duke Blue Devils program for them to get to the grade 8, or what do they call it? The Final 8, the grade 8, whatever the fuck they call it. That's a big thing for them now that Coach K is gone. So I was going to be like happy either way. I always root for NC State, but I just sort of watched them going like, how are they going to blow this one? Because every time I watch them, they never beat Carolina, they never beat Duke. Like, I'm trying to think if I've ever sat down and watched them do that. I watched them like a month ago, and you know, everything was going great in the first half, and then that was just it. And then they just faded away. But now look at them. Cinderella story, right? An 11th seed. So I'll definitely be watching that. That was very exciting. And here's a question that I have. You know, just as a fan of the New England Patriots, it's like, are we this shit with the Dodgers? This is just okay. This is how it works. It's just okay. All right, fine. I was joking with a buddy of mine. We were coming up with nicknames for Ohtani. Show high stakes poker, Ohtani. You got to go show high stakes poker, Ohtani. I mean, it's like we got crucified with independent investigations by the owner of the other team that was actually upheld by the commissioner. Unbelievable. You'd think the commissioner would be like, hey, we decide. I'm making $40 million a year. I got an ego. You're going around me, having your own fucking investigation. Go fuck yourself, and you lose a draft pick. I'm actually starting to think that Goodell was behind it. I have no fucking idea. But all I know is that shit stuck to us like gum on the bottom of our shoe. And this motherfucker, his translator got access to this guy's bank account information, was able to steal $4.5 million, gamble it away over a sustained period of time. None of his business managers noticed. This guy didn't notice. How the fuck does he get to that information? Now, in defense of him, because I don't want him to be guilty, to be honest with you. He's great for baseball. I mean, how do you root against, like, somebody doing Babe Ruth shit in 2024? I mean, that's unbelievable. So I am rooting for the guy. Maybe he was just overly trusting and all of that shit, but, like, I am a very trusting person, and I know a bunch of fucking people that are really close to me. None of them have been anywhere near my banking statements. And not even because I don't trust them. It's just because I don't do banking when I'm hanging out with friends. So when the fuck would they be looking over my shoulder to see this stuff? Well, maybe he went to an ATM with him and they fucking got his PIN number. Oh, yeah? How many times do you go to the ATM to take out $4.5 million before somebody notices? But, you know, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Just sweeping under the fucking rug. Nobody gives a shit. I also got to ask, too, like, just exactly how much money are the Dodgers going to spend? You know? It's coming off a little desperate. I will say the way that they did Ohtani's contract was brilliant. It's like, we'll give you $700 million right at the end of the apocalypse. I don't know when they owe him the money, but it's being deferred. Shit. You know, imagine if he got it all at once. How much would that interpreter have taken before anybody noticed? I will say, if I am Ohtani, you should immediately fire whoever's your business manager, that it took them this long to figure this out. Anyway. Plowing ahead here. I was down the Comedy Store last night, being Saturday night, and I had this new chunk that I've been working on the road, and then I kind of had the final piece, and I went down there. Right as I went on stage, I was like, why didn't you tape this set, you fucking idiot? And I know. I was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. I remember enough of what I said, and I went there, and it was one of those bits. It was like a plane taking off. And it crushed so fucking hard. In the end, it was like a spontaneous applause break. And I had a smile on my face, but in my head I was going like, of course you didn't tape. You undisciplined fucking idiot. But I remember enough of it. And I'm going to have so much fucking fun developing this idea. And I don't give a fuck that it's a new idea that I am excited about. I am putting it on my special because I'm a big believer in, when you do a special, you do all your best shit that you're most excited about. And like, well, I mean, this other bit, I got to make sure I document that bit. Fuck that other bit. Okay? You snooze, you lose, okay? You thought of it in between specials. Let the fucking thing go. And shout out to everybody on the Breakfast Club. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. Yeah, I never know if you can promote shit or not. I was on it this past week, and I had such a great time on that show. So hopefully they will have me back. And then, wait a second. Can I promote this? I was supposed to check the email. I don't give a fuck. So why is everything so, like... I just don't understand why everything is so, like, top secret now when it comes... All right, Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story. Yours truly is making a little appearance in the thing. I had a great time doing it. It comes out at the end of the month. It's the history of the Pop-Tart, and it's done by Jerry Seinfeld, so... You know, all the jokes are going to be top shelf. I've gotten a bunch of text messages, people saying that they're excited to see that. So, and then also I got home, don't you know, old Billy Freckles got home, and I watched the rest of The Iron Claw. With Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, this kid Stanley Simmons, who just blew me away, and then the guy playing the dad of all the Von Erichs. What is his name? Oh, Christ, I thought I put it down here. It says Holy McElhaney. What is wrong with me? I can't type. I just don't. Don't. What? I don't understand. Is this what getting old is? Is this what it is? All right, here we go. Holt. Oh, I probably typed in Holt, and then spell check was like, did you mean Holy? Holt McElhaney played the patriarch of the Von Erich family. And I love this movie so much. I was actually reading up on like Reddit and what people were saying and all of that. And it's like they had so much tragedy in that family that there was one kid, they just didn't even have that character in it because it was just too sad or too redundant. I don't know what. But the end of that movie, the way they did it, they did put a positive spin on it. I think they knew. They didn't just go straight Manchester by the Sea. Remember that one? Whoa, that fucking movie. They gave you a nice thing in the end, which I thought was amazing. And yeah, whatever. I give it 2 freckled thumbs up. You got to watch that. The Iron Claw. I believe it's streaming right now on Apple TV. Look at me, fucking Billy at the movies lately. And I got another one to watch. On Apple Plus, whatever the fuck they call it. Steve Martin. There's a documentary on him, and I can't even tell you how much it's blowing me away just watching this thing because I never thought about Steve Martin's style, and I never thought about what he went through to ascend the stand-up ladder doing an act like that, because he just all of a sudden was there. I was 10 years old and he was being silly as hell, and I never, I was 10. I didn't analyze it. I was like, this guy reminds me of my friends. This guy's hilarious. And I just thought he was the funniest dude I'd ever seen in my life. The movie, The Jerk, all of it. The Man with Two Brains. That was it. That was it. He came out with that white suit with the arrow between the head, making the balloon animals and just being silly and ridiculous. Well, excuse me. I loved him. And I just went, whatever movies he did, I saw them all. But I never really thought, and then by the time I started doing stand-up, he was like, had long since stopped doing stand-up and now was like this movie-making icon or whatever, right? I never stopped to think about it. And like the balls this guy had to do what he did. He wanted to be a comedian, but realized he wasn't like a set-up punchline person. That would literally be like being a musician, being like, I'm a musician, but I don't like putting notes that go together. and then I'm somehow going to write a hit song. He basically made the decision like what he was going to do was be avant-garde, and he was going to go up there with no setup, no punchline, and he was saying that audiences were so educated, which is something I've talked to today with other comedians, being like how educated a crowd is now because they're making videos. They're making videos and they're watching a zillion videos and they're commenting on them and they're uploading them and they're getting instant feedback, good or bad, that they as audience members know like what plays and what doesn't. Like everybody is now essentially in show business. He was talking about back then that the crowd was educated. They sort of understood like almost subconsciously that you create this tension and then the punchline is the release of the tension. And so they were like laughing sometimes because they just knew they were supposed to rather than because what was being said was funny. So that gave him the idea to do this other way where he was basically like, I'm just going to keep creating tension and I'm not going to release it. And people will then decide when it's time for them to laugh, when they just have to laugh or whatever. And like, I just have to say, being in this business, if that is your strategy as a stand-up comedian, I would have given that a 0.0% chance. of you making it doing that. And then I would give it like a 1% chance of working occasionally and having a good set. And what's amazing is you watch this documentary, and that's essentially what he went through, is like older people were like so conditioned on what was stand-up and what wasn't that they were just looking at him like he had three heads. And he was getting these big gigs opening up for singers, and he was getting fired, and he still had the balls to stay with what he was doing. And then he finally did some gigs in San Francisco. That's as far into it as I got, and it just blew my mind. Like I said, like I never even stopped to think about how original he was. Because like I said, I was 10, and all of a sudden, have you seen this guy Steve Martin? And that album came out, you know, he had the white suit and all of that, and just put it on. It was funny, and then that was it. So to go back now and just see what he went through is just, it's amazing, and it's done so well. And like Steve Martin narrates it, and he's reading from like his diary. It's as far as like stand-up history, it's like priceless. I'm so happy that they made this thing. So check that out if you get a chance. Oh, and the UFL is back. Every time I put it on, the Birmingham Stallions are playing, and I watched a little bit of it. I mean, it's good. It's good football. I felt bad, like the quarterback's on. He won the championship last year. It's funny that they're like a new league. They should just like make fun of themselves that they're a new league. You know, like when back in the day, yeah, you won the Super Bowl. Where you going? I'm going to Disney. You win the championship in the UFO. Where you going? I'm going back to work. I work UPS during the off season. That's what I kind of like about these guys. These guys are like the old school athletes. But I'm rooting for that league. I've watched every iteration of another league. I watched the original USFL. I watched both XFLs. That other fucking thing. I forget what it's called. I went to a game with Bert Kreischer, and the fucking team that we saw from Dallas had the coolest helmets I'd seen in a long time. Then COVID came, and that fucked that up. So now I don't know if LA has a UFL team, but I got to check that out. So that's my life right now. It's just movies, my kids, and I guess sports. I guess that's what I got going on. And what I got going on now is I got to read a little bit of advertising here. All right, Sticker Giant. All right, thank you to our sponsor, Sticker Giant, bringing unmatched quality and speed to the world of custom stickers and labels. Have you ever needed to make quickly brand your products to make your business stand out but struggle to find the right solution? Or maybe you've thought about printing custom stickers of your dog or something crazy your uncle said once. Well, now there's a Sticker Giant. Whether it's your startup business, a special event, or just for fun, their stickers and labels are the perfect fit. With their fast service and commitment to quality, you're not just making stickers or labels, you're telling your story. Did you know that Sticker Giants, based in Colorado, isn't just about crafting top quality stickers and labels? They're also the proud founders of National Sticker Day, established in 2016, and that's not all. They celebrated by creating the Sol the Sticker Ball, the original Guinness World Record holder for world's largest sticker ball, now weighing in at nearly 400 pounds. Sol is a true testament to Sticker Giant's passion for all things sticky and fun. Every sticker has a story. What's yours? For listeners, you can get 25% off. We should just send that thing out into space so aliens can find it, and for 1,000 years, like put it under something so it doesn't get destroyed, and they try and figure out what we meant by it, you know? Just it didn't mean anything. It's just fucking stickers, man. We were trying to get into this book. Every sticker has a story. What's yours? For listeners, you can get 25% off your first order with the code Burr, B-U-R-R, at checkout. Go to stickergiant.com/Burr and use the code Burr at checkout to get 25% off your first order. That's stickergiant.com/Burr. Code Burr for 25% off custom stickers and labels. All right, who do we got next? Oh, look who it is. Oh, my God. This company is in our ring of honor. They've been with us since the beginning. Stamps.com. You know, when you're making decisions for your company, you're always looking for the no-brainers. And if you have a lot of mailing and shipping to do, Stamps.com is the obvious choice for a reason. It streamlines your process and makes your business more efficient, freeing you up to focus on bigger decisions. Take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are, even on the go, with Stamps.com's mobile app. Automatically see your cheapest and fastest shipping options from different carriers. Access USPS and UPS mailing services you need to run your business right from your computer or phone anytime, day or night. No lines, no traffic, no waiting, no bullshit. Get rates you can't find anywhere else, like up to 89% off USPS and UPS. Order shipping and mailing supplies, labels, and even printers from the supply store when you run low. Make the same no-brainer decisions as over 1 million other businesses with Stamps.com. Sign up with the promo code Burr for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the homepage, and enter the code Burr, B-U-R-R. All right, let's talk a little aviation. Oh, Billy Whirlybird, I wanted to go for a flight. You know, I got back on Thursday, so there was a storm coming this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go sneak in a quick flight before this gets here. My morning got busy, you know. I felt the wind was picking up a little bit, but I checked the METARs and all of that shit. And I checked the TAFs. Everything fucking looked fine. And then I get up there, you know, pre-flight the chopper and all that. I bring it out to the transient area. And you know, doing all my pre-flight bullshit, and I'm listening to the ATIS, the information, and I hear winds are 10 knots, gusting to 24. And I was like, whoa, gusting to 24? I don't think I like that. But it's only 24 knots, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'll fly the pattern, see how that is, right? And it was information Delta. So I shut it off. I didn't realize it was like 10 to the hour. So that's when they re-record it. And I just so happened to hear a guy as I was, you know, running it up. I hear this guy say, you know, that he was coming in with information Echo after Delta Echo, right? So I'm like, all right, let me listen to that. And it said winds 10 knots, gusting to 36. And I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going. So I just sort of hovered taxi down to this sort of run-up area, and I just did some pickups and set-downs for like 15 minutes, and then I just tucked her away. And so I'm looking forward. I'm going to fly hopefully Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. You know, there's this flight I want to do down the coast, down towards San Diego. I've been meaning to do that. That's what I was going to do on Friday, and it just didn't. It didn't end up working out. But a buddy of mine ended up flying that day, so just flew the pattern. It was fine. It wasn't windy or anything like that. But I always like. I always do. Like, if I just hear something I don't like, you know what? I'm not fucking going. I do this for fun. I'm not a professional. I'm not delivering a kidney. I don't have to go. Unlike those people that fly professionally that just, you know. Yeah, I think I can make it. I don't want to be doing that. All right. Come to Brazil. Dear Billy Brazilian butt. I'm a 29-year-old fan from Brazil. Dude, I'm dying to do a show down in South America. We keep calling these promoters. They talk to us for a little while, and then they just go away. Which, you know, you know, I'm not flying all the way fucking down there to go see a promoter that may or may not be there. I was listening a few weeks ago to you saying that you were planning to do a show in Argentina, but I could suggest another excellent place for a show, and it would be here in Brazil, especially in Sao Paulo. Hope I said that right. Got the squiggly line over the A. I don't know. We would love to listen to your dick and shit jokes over here. I mean, I would love to do it. And for most of us, it would be the only chance to see a comedian like you live, as it's very expensive to travel outside the country. You could watch a Formula One race in here and see a real soccer game, not the ones those phonies play in Europe. Listen, even I know about the Brazilian national team. Wow, that would be insane. That would be insane. I would love to go to that. Thanks for all the content. It helped many of us during the hard times. Much love from Brazil to you and your family, and I can't wait for your new special. Red Rocks was the best comedy special that year. Oh, Jesus, what a sweetheart. I would love to go down there. I would absolutely love it. I would just be nervous to be that far away from my family. I'd have to bring my whole I don't know what I would do. The older I get, the less I like being far away from my family. I just don't, aside from just missing them, I just always think, what if there's a crisis? How long would it take for me to get to them? So that's been fucking with me lately. But I think if I wasn't a good father, which I am, that wouldn't bother me. But that's something that really does bother me. All right. Oh, my God. Somebody's writing it about the surprise nose job. So just to get you caught up, this poor bastard, his wife goes to Thailand for whatever fucking reason, and he's FaceTiming with her, and she has bandages over her nose, and she went without talking to him, his wife. He married this woman. She goes out and gets a fucking nose job, and he says he hates it. And I'm telling you, you get a bad nose job, you don't look like yourself anymore. Like, getting a nose job can change how your entire face looks. And he's having a real hard time with it. So I didn't know what to tell him. I was like, you have every right in the world to be upset by that. That's a major fucking decision. And fuck that whole, it's her body, it's her choice. So what? I married you. You're going to go in and fucking Dick Tracy your face, and you're not going to look like your wedding photo. Your nose job just made our wedding photo look like that's my first wife. You're making me look like I'm cheating on my wife with you. Anyway, so I didn't know what to say to this guy. Okay, surprise nose job. Hey, Billy Big Truck, you asked for an opinion or advice from a lady, so here goes. This is from a lady. That guy has every right to tell his wife that he hates her nose job, and there's no reason to sugarcoat it. Now, I understand why you're saying that, okay, because that is the truth of the situation. And then secondly, you're a woman. So, you guys can tell men the truth. It looks terrible. We can't do that shit. How do I look in this? Great. Like half shirts are in right now. The amount of guys that have girlfriends that should not be wearing half shirts, but they're not going to tell them. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, because that's not going to ruin your weekend. She's going to bring that up for the rest of your relationship. And you made me feel ugly, right? So she's just saying that this guy should just basically act like a woman and just blast double barrels there. All right. So she goes on to say, what she did was an absolute cunt move. So there is absolutely no reason to hold back. Yeah, there is. There's divorce, alimony, child support. And if she goes nuts, I mean, think about this. She Dick Tracy'd her fucking face. If he goes, you look, that you're a cunt for doing that, and the whole thing falls apart, hell hath no fury. Like a woman in a divorce with a new fucking face that the soon-to-be ex-husband didn't like. There's a lot of stuff. Like, I don't think that women understand how terrified men get when you guys get past a certain level of upset, because the options that are at your disposal, take everything we got, ask for a ridiculous amount of support, say that we beat you, say that you're worried about us being around our own children. You can say any of that shit, and the second you say that shit, the judge is like, prove her wrong. So I don't know. I don't know about this advice. So she says, I'm so appalled by what she did. I want to hit her in her ugly new nose with a shovel. Whoever this woman is, you're a fucking saint. But I don't know, as a man, I would follow this advice. She goes on, without saying a word, she let him know that she has zero respect for him or his opinions. As far as getting past this, I would suggest going to both individual and couples counseling. I don't think this is something he will ever get over. So the best he can hope for is learning how to deal with it. How does he deal with it? Every time he bangs her, it's got to be doggy style. Be funny if she was enjoying it so much and then she turns around to ride him and he's just like, ah! Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. I would just be a dick. I would just keep quizzing her, being like, what have you done with my wife? Is my wife still alive in Thailand? Say something that only you and I would know pre-going to Thailand. I would pour water over her head just to make sure she wasn't a robot. My heart goes out to that guy and I wish him the best. You know what? If I had a sweetheart of the week, I would give it to you, sweetheart. I like the, what are they, the cut of your jib. You're a no bullshit fucking person. You're 100% right too. In a perfect world, he could say like, you fucked your face up. How am I supposed to maintain an erection when you did that to your face? If you have any sort of fucking substance, just I don't know what. I don't even know. How do you make this up to me? Oh my God. You know what I would do? I would have an artist make a fake version of her original nose. Then whenever you bang her, she has to wear it. If she has glasses, just attach it to that, and she could put them on like joke glasses. Anyway, self-checkout. Self-checkout. Here we go. Self-checkout. Another person having issues with the self-checkout. Hey, Bill. I was in a clothing store yesterday, and I had to check out myself. Granted, the technology was decent. You put them all in a basket, and it adds everything up or detects the tag or something. Regardless, you were right. I hate it in the grocery store. They've really taken advantage of the idea. If they kept it for people walking out with gum, that'd be fine. But that's what the 12 items or less line was always about. Everything is really starting to suck. Yeah, I hate when you go to do them and then they have a camera like videotaping you. So I just put my thumb over it. I just do like whatever I can. But I use the self-checkouts. I do it. I just said fuck it. I just said fuck it because I was screaming about them and nobody was doing anything about it. It just like after a while, you get tired of yelling by yourself. And you're just like, all right, I don't give a shit. It's just, it's kind of like pop music after a while. You hate a song and you hate a song. And you're like, all right, come on, Eileen. Da, 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 da. I mean, everybody seems to enjoy it. All right. 800,000 dead fish. Oh, no. Please don't tell me this is more environmental disasters. Hey, Bill, if you read into the carbon scam, it was created by the same guy who created short selling. Short selling is, I look at if you read into the carbon scam. So you just go immediately from the very beginning that I think that carbon emission is a scam, that we're having no effect on the planet whatsoever, and that us laying waste to the world's biggest forests and all that, and that the Great Barrier Reef is not dying because of anything that we're doing. All right, so I just let all of that go. So all those scientists say, that are saying that's true are all owned by corporations. Okay, I got my mind right, and I'm going to be open-minded and read this. Short selling is a tool to legally shell a company, as explained in Wall Street with Michael Douglas. Short selling is, no, when you short a company, That's your betting that their stock is going to go down. Short selling is, for whatever reason, I can buy a stock from you for like a short period of time, and then I have to sell it back to you, and you buy it back from me at the price that I paid it for. So what I do, I buy it for $100 from you, and then I immediately sell it for $100, betting that it's going to go down. It goes down to 80, then I buy it back from the guy, or I buy it back, right? And then I sell it back to you, and you gotta pay what I paid for it, $100. So I just made $20. That's shorting a stock. That's short selling. I don't know what you're talking about. As explained in Wall Street with Michael Douglas. Okay. So you're talking about scams, and then when you're talking about shorting a stock, you can't explain it yourself, and you reference a movie with an actor talking about it. Okay, all right. Once the whole recycling movement got rearing up, they had no choice but to act. What does that mean? Except you can't sell less plastic and containers of food and bags and boxes and chemicals and waste and expect to make more money. So they moved the attention to carbon so they could manipulate data and blame it on everyday humans. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I don't doubt that they're going to blame it on us. I don't doubt that. Yes, we affect the environment, and yes, we should be using yes, but it's between all the military's use of oil and deliberate neglect by companies when disposing of waste. We're not the fucking issue. We've made huge strides with technology to properly produce and dispose of hard chemical waste, but guess what? It's too expensive. So here comes the subject line. Here's a story about 800,000 dead fish over a 60-mile stretch from a fertilizer company. I wonder if the people who are responsible will be encouraged to cut back on their personal carbon use. All right, I misread what you were saying. Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's how the fucking world works. I don't know what to do with any of this information. Because when a guy like, RFK Jr., of a guy like, Bernie Sanders, guy like Ross Perot, anybody who comes around, who was the other guy who got blamed for the 2000 election going to George W. Bush for dividing the vote? Whatever that guy's name was. All of those guys that tell the truth, they just get tarred and feathered and they just bury them. And you got a bunch of dummies on both sides that's how we ended up with these two guys. I mean, these fucking two guys, they shouldn't have been running 4 years ago. They shouldn't be running now. Hillary should have never ran. None of them. None of these people are good choices. None of them are. It's just different brands of the same fucking thing. The last human being, I've said it before, that was in the White House was Jimmy Carter, and the last person in the White House that I saw that showed any restraint was George Herbert Walker Bush when he didn't go into Baghdad and go get Saddam Hussein. He said, well, we don't have permission to do that. He respected whatever the NATO, whoever it was, saying you can't do that, but you can go in and stop them from, taking over Kuwait. I don't know. Ever since then, people have just sort of done whatever the fuck they want to do. But I do believe a revolution is coming. That there will be some sort of pushback. But the problem is that they own the media. They own the news media. You have two guys that own, like the fact that Ted Turner and the other guy there, whatever the fuck his name is, that owns Fox News, has this many people listening to one fucking point of view is absolutely fucking insane. It's something that people warn people about. We used to have rules on ownership of media. We used to have rules of ownership of monopolies. You know, these fucking assholes going out, buying up all the land, these fucking assholes going up, buying up all the houses. All of it, the whole deregulation of these guys, that all started way back in the early 80s. Ronald Reagan started that shit. And they all sold these dummies. You don't want the government in your life. You don't want big government. You don't want them in their life. And they sold like the government was going to be knocking on their fucking doors. They just fear-mongered the thing. And it was basically, we don't want the government telling us we can't take more and more and more and more and more and more. And that's basically what has happened. And that's why you have the homeless problem. This is why you have some people not being able to afford to live anywhere. And then the moron thing you do is you blame the standing president. Like he's the reason. Unless the standing president is wearing a colored tie that makes you feel good. So then what you do is say, well, he inherited those problems from the last fucking guy. And it has nothing to do with any of that. The president is just somebody for you to get mad at and yell at. That's all they do. They're just a figurehead. All right. That's bleak. That's depressing. And that's how I feel. I'm sorry. All right. Europeans don't know shit about geography either. Bonjour, Billy Swiss chocolate balls. Greetings from Geneva, Switzerland. Oh, man, I would love to go there. I landed in Bern one time and connected. I believe that's where it was. I forget where the fuck. At an airport. I connected in Switzerland, and I just wanted to miss my flight and just walk out into the country. I'm an American guy and have been living on this side of the pond for about 15 years now. I've heard you rant many times about how Europeans talk down to Americans because they think we're clueless about geography. Of course, Europeans are no smarter than Americans and don't know much about geography either. Here's my anecdote about that. That's basically what I say when I do stand-up over there. Or I tell them that they're all so fat. I think I did that in Paper Tiger. When I first moved to Geneva, I was surprised that it is nearly completely surrounded by France. Geneva is only connected to the rest of Switzerland by a 2 to 3 mile wide stretch of land. That's really interesting. And if you move in any other direction, you either end up in France or a big-ass lake. Prior to moving here, I had worked in several different countries in Africa and the Middle East. Since I had traveled a bit, I already had a good grasp of world geography. Example, county locations, capitals, etc. But for some reason, I found many of the countries in Europe difficult to remember. I moved here to work for an international nonprofit organization, and when I mentioned that I was surprised about Geneva's geography, a few of my coworkers made snide remarks saying that Americans don't know anything about geography. These folks were mostly French and British. I replied, "Oh, really? Do you know all the countries in the Balkans? I also find those countries difficult to remember. No surprise these douchebags didn't know shit." I love that you gave them shit back. And their knowledge of Eastern European countries was just as bad. And all these folks do humanitarian work and travel quite a bit. Big picture, Europe is tiny compared to the U.S., so knowing several European countries requires the same brain power as knowing several U.S. states and U.S. capitals. Exactly. If there's any truth that Europeans know more about geography than Americans, I think it may be because most Europeans get a lot more paid vacation days than Americans. Well, also, you go one state over, it's a new country. And then you can be like, I've been to 5 countries. Saying you've been to 5 states, you're still in America. Nobody gives a shit. I mean, you can get on a goddamn train and in 3 days go through 12 countries over there. Thus, they have opportunities to travel and visit new places and subsequently learn a bit more about geography. There's also, their culture wasn't destroyed like it was over here. Like the British destroyed, all of European culture. You had to come here and assimilate under British rule and be into their shit. So all of that language, all of that music, all of that food, it all went away because there was all of this prejudice by the latest new people that came here, and they were all like, I don't want my kid to speak Italian. I don't want him to speak French. I want him to be, air quote, American. It's really fascinating. If there is any truth that Europeans... Wait, I already read that. What are your thoughts on this? I could be wrong, but as a longtime listener to the MMP, I have noticed your knowledge of geography has improved as you've toured different parts of the world. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to do it, to sit there and look at a globe and memorize it. I mean, you could do that What does that mean? I remember there used to be like people, they would memorize the dictionary. It's like, that doesn't make you smart. It means you have a good memory, but what are you going to do with, what are you doing with all of that? I could be wrong, but is it a long time? Blah, blah, blah. I'm the same way and only really know about geography since I've gone to lots of random places for work. I also think about getting into like, F1 and MotoGP and always looking up where this race is and doing the Google Earth thing. And you get more of an idea of the world, but there's nothing like traveling there. Absolutely. I mean, every American should go to Asia. You got to go to Asia. It is fucking mind-blowing. It's like you went to another planet, but it's Earth. And everything is the same, but replaced by something different, if that makes sense. They have fast food, but they got their own fast food. They have some of our shit, their own airlines, their own pop stars, but it's the same fucking shit. And people are the fucking exact same, but totally different. I can't explain it. You got to go. It's fucking amazing. I loved it. Think about stopping in Geneva as part of your next European tour. Everyone here speaks English, so folks will be able to understand you. And if you want to practice your French, Geneva is a perfect place since the Swiss speak French much slower than in France, so it may be easier for you to understand. Take it easy and go fuck yourself. I would love to do that. I would love to do all of that stuff. But I got 2 little kids, and I only got one shot at this, so I gotta do that first. I told you, I heard Eddie Murphy say on Mark Maron's podcast, if you put your kids first, you'll never make a bad decision. And that's just something that, every once in a while you just hear something, you're like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to fucking do that. All right, so that's the podcast, everybody. Have a great couple of days. I'll check in on you on Thursday. And congratulations once again to NC State, man. That's so huge. It's been so, I'm not the biggest college hoops fan, but I don't think they've been in the Final Four in a long, long time. And to beat Duke to get there, I'm sure they are celebrating down there in Cary, Raleigh, the Research Triangle area. Bet Chapel Hill's a little quiet tonight. All right, that's it, everybody. Go fuck yourselves, and I'll check in on you on Thursday.